If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine, and maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them, from disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
The Trump administration fights anti-Semitism. A new leader for the Canadian Liberal Party, Tesla's dealerships under attack, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The Trump administration announced on Friday that it will rescind more than $400 million in federal grants to Columbia University, citing concerns over rising anti-Semitism on campus and the school's failure to address it. Last week, the Departments of Health and Human Services, Education, and the U.S. General Services Administration announced the initiation of a comprehensive review of more than $5 billion in federal grant money that goes to Columbia in light of ongoing investigations for potential violations of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act related to anti-Semitism on campus. In the days since the Trump administration's announcement of this review, the agencies have already begun slashing funds. Sources familiar with the matter, who ask to remain anonymous, say that more than $400 million in federal grant funds from HHS and the Department of Education will be rescinded from Columbia as a result of the anti-Semitism that is continuing on campus. Meanwhile, a Hamas sympathizer who students identified as a leader of the protests and encampments on the Columbia University campus that have gone on for months has been arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. On Saturday, Mahmoud Khalil was taken into custody at his university-owned apartment on the city's Upper West Side. Secretary of State Marco Rubio reacted to the arrest and issued a dire warning to anyone supporting the Hamas terror group. We will be revoking the visas and/or green cards of Hamas supporters in America so they can be deported, Rubio wrote in a post on X. Trump threatens sanctions on Russia to spur the Ukraine peace deal. With Russia launching major attacks in Ukraine after the U.S. paused military aid and intelligence sharing, President Trump said on social media he was strongly considering new large-scale sanctions and tariffs on Russia until a peace agreement is reached. However, speaking to reporters in the Oval Office, the president continued to express frustration with Ukraine, saying, "I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine, and they don't have the cards." Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard's warning of a terrorist takeover in Syria looks to be coming true amid reports that al-Qaeda-linked terror forces aligned with Syria's interim new president, a former al-Qaeda terrorist, are being accused of massacring Alawites as well as members of the country's dwindling Christian community. Syrian security forces and affiliated gunmen have killed more than 340 civilians, the vast majority of them from the Alawite minority, over the last few days. At Gabbard's Senate confirmation hearing, she said, "I have no love for Assad or any dictator. I just hate al-Qaeda. I hate that our leaders cozy up to Islamist extremists, calling them rebels. As Jake Sullivan said to Hillary Clinton, al-Qaeda is on our side in Syria. Syria is now controlled by al-Qaeda offshoot HTS, led by an Islamist jihadist who danced in the streets on 9/11 and who was responsible for the killing of many American soldiers." Antisemitism is again on display at the United Nations. While their annual report on children in conflict zones isn't set to come out until June, a draft report that has been obtained by the media is already causing concern. The report excludes discussion of Israeli victims of the ongoing war in the Middle East, while lobbing accusations at the Jewish state. Throughout the section of the report on Israeli and Palestinian children, there are instances of the UN using conflicting, verified and unverified data. Though the report admits that there is unverified data, it does not give any information on who is responsible for verifying the other figures. This lack of transparency leaves room to doubt the report's accuracy. We will not cooperate with a report that serves as a platform for baseless slander against Israel, Israeli UN Ambassador Danny Danon said in a statement sent exclusively to Fox News Digital. An internal United Nations memo shows that the organization is trying to brace itself for U.S. funding cuts as the Department of Government Efficiency works to root out waste. The memo was sent to heads of various departments and offices with the subject line, "Managing the 2025 Regular Budget Liquidity Crisis." According to the memo, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres issued a directive to manage cash flow conservatively and to suspend hiring. It also contained a warning to the department heads, telling them to prepare to work with 80% of their allocated budgets. We are aware that the 80% ceiling could pose significant challenges for many entities to meet some of their non-discretionary spending for non-post costs. However, we are constrained by the lack of overall liquidity, the memo reads. A $53 billion Arab-backed plan for the reconstruction of Gaza has garnered support from France, Germany, Italy, and the UK after receiving pushback from the US and Israel. The plan shows a realistic path to the reconstruction of Gaza and promises, if implemented, swift and sustainable improvement of the catastrophic living conditions for the Palestinians living in Gaza, the foreign ministers wrote in a joint statement. The foreign ministers called for a post-war plan based on a solid political and security framework, but reiterated the need for Hamas to not be able to govern Gaza. Additionally, the European leaders said that they are supportive of the Palestinian Authority's central role in a post-war Gaza and the implementation of its reform agenda. A group of bipartisan House lawmakers are introducing legislation to redesignate Turkey as a Near Eastern country at the State Department, rather than a European country, as Ankara has moved away from the U.S. and NATO allies. The group of lawmakers, led by Representatives Brad Schneider, the Democrat from Illinois, and Gus Bilirakis, the Republican from Florida, introduced the Turkey Diplomatic Realignment Act, which looks to formally move Turkey's designation at the U.S. State Department from the Bureau of European and Eurasian Affairs to the Bureau of Near Eastern Affairs, reflecting Ankara's deepening ties with Russia, China, Iran, and Hamas, which are fundamentally at odds with Western security interests. Turkey is at a crossroads, but Erdogan has made his choice, Schneider said in a statement. Former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney will become Canada's next Prime Minister after winning the Liberal leadership race on Sunday night. Carney told cheering supporters that Canada never ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. The Prime Minister-designate said Canada's tariffs against the United States will remain until the Americans show us respect, and added that Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. Carney said that while Donald Trump thinks he can weaken us with his plan to divide and conquer, conservative official opposition leader Pierre Poilievre's plans will leave us divided and ready to be conquered. Carney received 86% of the vote, or 131,764 votes, of the 151,899 votes cast from the nearly 400,000 party members who registered to participate in the leadership election. Now, the Canadians will elect a new prime minister. Tesla dealerships, chargers, and vehicles have been vandalized by Musk detractors. At least 6 different events at Tesla locations resulted in damaged property and/or arrests this month alone, according to CBS. They include a Maryland dealership tagged with "No Musk" graffiti and a sign that resembles a swastika, and 7 Tesla superchargers in Littleton, Massachusetts, being intentionally set on fire. The incidents come as Elon Musk's involvement in the federal government deepens and some critics resort to violence against his business interests. On Saturday, a protest involving 300 people at a Tesla showroom in Manhattan resulted in 6 arrests, mostly for disorderly conduct. That event was part of the nationwide Tesla takedown movement, in which most demonstrations have remained peaceful. Musk posted on X, "Heartfelt thanks to everyone supporting Tesla despite many attacks against our stores and offices." Job growth was weaker than expected in February, though still stable despite President Donald Trump's efforts to slash the federal workforce. Non-farm payrolls increased by a seasonally adjusted 151,000 on the month, better than the downwardly revised 125,000 in January, but less than the 170,000 consensus forecast from Dow Jones, the Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics reported on Friday. The unemployment rate edged higher to 4.1%. Drugstore chain Walgreens on Thursday announced that it will go private. The struggling company entered into an agreement with private equity firm Sycamore Partners, valued at $10 billion. Sycamore will pay $11.45 per share, a premium of 8% to the stock's closing price of $10.60 on Thursday. Shares of the company rose nearly 6% in extended trading. Walgreens shareholders could also receive an additional $3 in cash from future monetization of the company's debt and equity interests in Village MD. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.